Yes, this is Mr. Controversy, and this is the infamous three-point conversion station. Keep it locked.
What up, what up, what up? Good morning, good Saturday morning. You are tuned in with the three-point conversion with your boy D Intellectual. How's everybody doing today? And I'm not doing this alone today. I got my boy G in the building.
Yo.
Unfortunately, Mr. Controversy isn't here today. He lost his voice, but you know I'm going to hold it down. You know how we do here Saturday morning. So how your morning started, G?
I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night.
No.
So it's kind of rough, but
yeah,
I made it.
Yeah, I understand that. It's been rainy, man. It's rainy this morning. It looked like it's going to be a rainy day, a rainy week. But, I mean, it is what it is. We got a couple games on today. Well, one game, one NBA game. It should be plenty baseball. Other than that, it's going to be kind of slow. I'm sure some WNBA on. But we can figure it out. Let's get to these quick hits.
All right, let's jump right into it.
So finally. So we got a new assistant GM and overall president of basketball, meaning the Chicago Bulls, who I'm saying we are. They have finally fired head coach Jim Boylen after 2 seasons. Boylen was 39-84 after taking the head coaching job in December of 2018. Now, we've been kind of sitting around waiting to see what kind of moves were going to be made with the new president of basketball operations. They usually want their own coach. But we also know how the Bulls are, right? Like, they don't like to pay a whole lot of different people at the same time. And with a new GM coming in, he going to want some money. So this was, it was a wanted. We've been wanted it. We were waiting on when it was going to happen. Got kind of worried that they were just going to let him play his contract out, but I'm glad they didn't. What's your thoughts on that, G?
I think it was a matter of time. I mean, we already had like a halfway mutiny from the players when they made him the interim coach. And then just some of the decisions we saw him make during games, questionable timeouts. Like, look, you're down by 10 with 5 seconds left. Why are you calling a timeout? Dog, because the players need to learn. I mean, I know it was a young team,
right?
But you were embarrassing the players on a nightly basis with your decisions.
Consistently, if you weren't seeing Zach LaVine face, Luka Doncic face one day was like, dude, what was that? Like, you can't do that. But hopefully, have you thought of any coaches they may be looking at or who you think would be a good fit for him?
Some names I've heard: Kenny Atkinson, the former Nets coach, Wes Unseld Jr., who's an assistant with the Nuggets.
That's
right
my
now.
First of even hearing of him, which was different. But he's an assistant with the Denver, so that would make sense.
Ime Udoka, who is he was an assistant with the Spurs, and I think he's an assistant with the Sixers now.
Yeah.
So they're probably looking at a young assistant or an assistant that's looking for his first head coaching position. So that's the direction it seems like they might go.
I would like Ime or Kenny. The reason I like Kenny Atkinson just because of how way he was able to build that Brooklyn Nets team up. So I think that's going to be an interesting hire. Moving on, the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame plan to have their induction ceremony at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut. Did I say that correct? Uncasville, Connecticut, in May of 2021. The class of 2020 will include Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Rudy Tomjanovich, and Tamika Catchings. What's your thoughts on that, G?
It's good that they're going to, I guess they scheduled the ceremony. We all knew it was going to be moved to 2021. So their plans being made, it's it's going to be one of the more memorable ceremonies, not only because of the passing of Kobe Bryant, but also the because of the pandemic and, you know, everything just being moved and postponed. You know, this is an event that I think there can still be a celebration, and I think to finally enshrine Kobe is going to be a huge moment. So the fact that they're still planning to do that is very important.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, Kobe being Bryant, that alone is going to make it exciting. But then you got Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, arguably two of the best power forwards that ever did it. You got Rudy Tom. He did his thing. Never forget, you know, them back-to-back championships. And then we got the great Tamika Catchings, so you really can't complain on that lineup. Moving on, Oakland Athletics outfielder Ramon Laureano's suspension for charging at the Houston Astros bench was reduced from 6 games to 4. Laureano dropped his appeal and his suspension began Friday night and will go through Monday. He also said Astros hitting coach Alex Centrone used a foul comment that involved Laureano's mother, which started the confrontation. Centrone was suspended for 20 games. I definitely think the coach should have been suspended a longer period of time. He's supposed to set the bar, set the example for what happens. Laureano doesn't see his parents like that, because I think if I'm not mistaken, they sent him to America when he was younger so that he can have a better life, and so he doesn't have the opportunity to see his family. So I can definitely understand, you know, if a coach says something vile about your mother, you're gonna do whatever you need to do. But I don't, you know, the guy that grabbed him, I was trying to figure out why, because, you know, when you go after a bench, you're going after whoever you get to, right? But what he said was the guy that grabbed him was one of the best teammates he had when he was there, because he used to play for them. So he said even when he's on the bottom, the guy was like, don't worry about it, I got you. So that makes sense why he didn't just go at the first person he saw. He was really trying to get to that coach. You got thoughts on that, G?
I think that, you know, you hear that these suspensions get reduced. I think what Major League Baseball does a lot of the time is, okay, we got to say something right now, and, you know, when the player appeals, then because the league has to make such a quick decision, most likely with limited information and context, they get a little more context. Okay, 4 games. I mean, you still went after the guy, so
right.
we got to do something.
Right.
But we understand, so it won't be as many games.
Absolutely. Moving on, NCAA President Mark Emmert said Thursday there will not be fall championships because there are not enough schools participating due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, a decision that affects 22 championships, including FCS football. Emmert said in a statement, the Board of Governors also established if you don't have half of the schools playing a sport, you can't have a legitimate championship. We can't in any Division I NCAA championship sports now, which is everything other than FBS football that goes in the fall. Sadly, tragically, that's going to be the case this fall. Full stop. Thoughts on that?
Well, all these schools are dropping out, and, you know, he's following what the board of directors said. You know, for people who followed the 3-point conversion, we reported on the FCS not having any championships or playoffs because more than 50% of the schools dropped out, and that's a mandate made by the board. So if that's what's happening in the other sports,
right,
then you know, he's got to follow that. And technically the FBS is still doing theirs because more than 50% are still going to compete.
Absolutely. And even with that, we're still seeing schools drop out. Like, we haven't even got to the point where it's like some schools are saying, hey, we're playing. It's still, we don't know how many schools are going to continuously drop out. I think it's a smart decision to make. But just thinking going into the fall, can you even think about what our Saturdays are going to be looking like?
Well, the NFL's trying to fill that void.
Yeah,
and there are a lot of questions about that. We might talk about that later.
Yeah, we definitely going to get to that. Moving on, Jack Sawyer, the number 1 ranked high school football prospect in the country, will forego his senior season at Pickerington North High School to train for early enrollment at Ohio State, where he announced his commitment in January 2019. He planned to enroll in Ohio State in January 2021, but the uncertainty of high school football in Ohio drove his decision. I mean, I can definitely understand that. He's not going to play football. I mean, things are changing, right? Like overall, like across the board, not just in college sports, but even in high school sports where they may not weren't even going to have a season. We don't even know, but the pandemic definitely changed it. But even beyond the pandemic, there's a lot of players, whether it's college where they're sitting back, not playing a full season or not playing bowl games or whatever to try to get prepared. I mean, I understand it on one hand, but I know growing up, we were in sports, like you want to play every game. Even if it was the last All-Star game, you're trying to play the last All-Star game just so you can be a part of it. You got thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm sure this decision didn't come easy. I mean, he already planned to enroll early, and a lot more players are doing that. But I think he was just thinking about his future. Like, he doesn't want to do anything to where it would mess up that opportunity. So he had to. This wasn't an easy decision, but it may have been helped that he doesn't know if he's even going to play another game.
Absolutely.
So let me worry about my future now. And let me protect that.
And last but not least, a Reds player has tested positive for the coronavirus. They haven't said his name. Today's game is up in the air. Just baseball, man. It seems like every time they're over one, right? Like first it was the Marlins, then it was the Cardinals. Now it's the Reds, and we don't know how far that can go. Like, it's going all over the place, and I definitely hope that at some point they can get it taken care of, because there are some teams out there, not saying that these teams aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? Because you can catch this doing anything. But there's some teams out here doing what they need to do and playing some real good baseball, and we definitely don't want this to affect the entire baseball season. You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to keep seeing these reports of some player testing positive. I mean, just based on probably within the next few days, you'll hear a lot more of it. The MLB just implemented that every team has a compliance officer to make sure everybody is following the protocols, not leaving the team hotel to go out with their friends in that particular town. Sneaking people into the hotel. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But there are probably going to be some more tests just because of how long it takes to for if what we've heard about the virus, how long it can take for it to show up, and we're probably going to hear a few more of these kind of reports. But I think it's good that baseball is trying to protect the players, at least from public shame.
And I think beyond NBA being in a bubble, this is what it's going to be. There's going to be a few people that catch it, and once you get caught, there's going to be the team is going to be affected, right? Like, the team isn't going to be able to play, whether it's the NFL, whatever. Like, other than being in a bubble, man, this is the reality of what it's going to be like. All right, that's the end of our quick hits. We'll be right back with our hot topic.
Hey folks, Handsome Josh is here to reveal some big news to all the AM 1100 listeners.
I have an app.
That's right, you can now check out all your favorite programs right here on The Real with The Real 1100 app. Whether it's sports, entertainment, or lifestyle, The Real 1100 definitely has you covered.
So why don't you just tell me how much it's going to cost me?
And here's the best part. It's available in your Google Play or Apple App Store, and it's free to download.
Actually, you can count me in on this one.
So download the Real 1100 app today and stay in tune with The Real.
What's up? This is Vince Carter. You're listening to a 3-Point Conversion. Check it out.
Get ready. From the oven to your ears, it's now time for the Hot Topic.
Yes. So we're back with the Hot Topic, and we got a great Hot Topic today. The Hot Topic of the day is the bubble season is over, and now it's time for bubble playoffs. So bubble.
That's what it's all about.
That's what it's about, man. And that's the only way it's going to work, other than, a couple like we talked about, So, G, overall, what's your overall impression of the game so far?
From what I've been able to see, it's been a lot of fast paced basketball. I mean, some people may feel like it's no one's playing any defense, and people like some teams who know they have no chance of going too far in the playoffs maybe have phoned it in. Some people are still trying to follow their program for some of their own players. I'm of course speaking of the Pelicans. Still trying to protect Zion in this kind of situation. I mean, I can understand that they're thinking long term, but I think teams that when they found out they were invited down to do something, to play, then they saw it as an opportunity to just to get out there and compete. Like they want to play. And what I've also seen a lot is a lot of the teams, to protect their players, their star players at least, everybody plays. Mm-hmm. Like there were so many games where everybody scored.
11 to 12 players. 11 to 12 players.
So, you get to see a lot more players play. Like I said, a lot of like fast-paced games, high-scoring games. Maybe not a whole lot of defense played, but it was still refreshing to see. It was 4 months with no basketball. So it was good. It was good to have it.
Yeah. So initially, we talked about it. I was like, yo, it's boring. I don't really like it. But, as time went on, it's definitely gotten more interesting. The fans, the virtual fans are definitely helpful. Like you said, there's no defense. I mean, there's 70, 80 points scored in the first half, 40-point quarters. And I'm hoping in the playoffs it gets better because, I mean, I'm seeing – I know Luka has game, but I'm seeing him walk to the basketball rim and just lay it in. I'm seeing LeBron, like, the men are opening up like the Red Sea. And that's kind of offensive as a sports fan. But overall, I think it will get better. Like you said, everybody is playing, so that's interesting. As far as the Zion thing, I think initially they had an opportunity to make the playoffs or even get in the playoff game initially, but the way that they went with giving him 15 minutes and like I didn't agree with that personally because I know they're thinking about the future. He wasn't coming off of injury. He hasn't played basketball in 4 months, and he's 19 years old.
Right,
man, let him run up and down the court and get to it. They not playing no defense. But with that being said, it looked like there were rumors out that Lonzo checked out when they got there. Like he really wasn't into it anyway. But I think they had a chance to really, really do something. Other than that, I think it's interesting. What I will say, we've seen some very close games. This last week, like previously there were some blowouts, right? Like this past week, it was some games going on and it was competitive. And I think that's what made me start to like it more, right? Like, cause it's more competitive. People are like really trying to play. And I kind of like the play-in game. At first I thought I wouldn't like it, but it made it interesting. It made it, it made it competitive. It made those teams that you thought wouldn't have been competitive. It made it more competitive and more interesting.
Well, yeah, I agree with that because it's, not every team is down there, of course. And, I'm not saying this about all the teams that didn't come down to the bubble, but they all have different motivations.
Right.
Some would want to play, and some are, they're already thinking about the lottery right now.
Right.
So that was one aspect. And with these games, if these are there's going to be tough competition every single game. So the games are going to become more competitive naturally. So you saw a lot of good games. I mean, even with was that last night with Portland and Brooklyn, to where Portland needed to win that game.
Hey, Jock Vaughn petty, man. The reason I say that, man, is because they got they playoffs lined up. They've been set. Jock Vaughn, like, man, I'm playing for a job.
Yeah,
I'm playing for a job. I need to get out here and get to it. He left Karis LeVert in, but the crazy part is, even when he took the starters out, they bench was out there balling.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like with all the players that don't normally get a whole lot of playing time. It seems like everybody's getting to play. So now those players who don't get playing time can come in and, they're playing for a contract. So they're playing for a job. So a lot of people have different motivations that have to do with the game, at least. That's definitely different from some of the 8 teams that didn't come down.
And not only did he say we're gonna play hard, we gonna double Dame
At half court.
So he was like, "Yeah, we coming to win." And I like what Dame said though. Man, Karis LeVert cold. Like he couldn't even say nothing. He cold. Which Shorty do got game. He was getting to the rim at will, and he's a real finisher. Now the playoff matchups are set. Do you think anyone should be on upset alert?
I've said this a couple of weeks ago. If Portland got that 8th spot and they end up playing the Lakers should look out. It's going to be a tough series. That will not be an easy series for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They don't have Avery Bradley. I know Rajon Rondo will be back, but he's not the same Rajon that he was when he was in Boston, when he was great defensively. He's still smart and he can do things, but as far as anybody actually sticking Dame, man, Los Angeles is going to have their hands full. I think that would be the only team for me on quote-unquote upset alert. Because, again, Dame going to do what Dame do. You know what I mean? But on the other end, the Blazers not going to stop a nosebleed. They have no one that's going to be able to handle
their best defense will be just to outscore the other team.
That's it. You know what I mean?
They definitely can do that.
Right. That's the point. They can do that. They're very deep. If Gary Trent Jr. continues to play the way he's played, if Skinny Melo continue to hit those big shots. However, on the other end, I don't know who they going to put on LeBron. But that's going to be an issue because Skinny Melo, Big Melo, Syracuse Melo,
Hoodie
Olympic Melo, Hoodie Melo, we're going to be able to do nothing with LeBron, and we know how focused he is. Another, I don't know if it's an upset, but I can see Oklahoma City beating Houston.
I think that the next question, the most interesting matchup, like that is the answer.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City and Houston, all the storylines, what Chris Paul has done this year to one, he should have gotten more. He should have been an MVP finalist, in my opinion, and making Billy Donovan look like an actual NBA coach.
So what's crazy is everybody's hollering Coach of the Year for Billy Donovan. I don't agree, right? Because I think it's more Chris Paul than it is Billy Donovan. Do I think Billy Donovan was doing a good job as a coach this year? Yes. But I think as a coach, Nick Nurse more so deserves it. Because if you have Chris Paul, like you got Chris Paul, that's the coach of the floor. You know what I mean? And now he's gotten Shai, however you say his name, he's gotten him to the point where he's even smarter. So this matchup alone, and not to mention, no Russ for at least the first 3 games?
Right.
That's huge. Who gonna be able to stick Chris Paul? Austin Rivers?
They have the. Well, Houston plays kind of the same kind of defense where we got to outscore you. So it's going to be they're going to have to really if they're going to stick to this small ball lineup, they really have to make that. They really have to hit their shots. They really have to, if Houston's when they're hitting threes and getting out on the break,
can't nobody beat them.
You can't do anything.
Nobody do nothing with
because now you're trying to catch up to them. That's how fast they play. But I think that they'll have to. Chris Paul will really have to. I don't know what kind of knowledge he might have of Houston's offense and what they try to do defensively, because he was a major reason why Houston was a good defensive team in that short time that he was there. So it's really going to be he's the most important player in the series, and if he gets Oklahoma City going, even with or without Westbrook, they can win that series, and that will be the end of an era.
Absolutely. I think another big player is going to be Steven Adams. Since though the fact Houston really has no big, Steven Adams, how strong he plays and how good he is defensively regarding that because they're going to still put him out there. So if he's able to get out there, get the rebounds like he consistently does, score off the pick and roll, then that's, again, going to be probably the most interesting matchup.
Well, yeah, they have to take advantage of that. He'll be the tallest player on the floor by at least 6 inches. So just don't force feed him the ball.
Right.
But look for opportunities to get easy baskets from him because they're going to be there.
And run your offense. Now, the Suns went 8-0. But missed the playoffs. Now, for me, that I wanted to see the Suns and the Blazers. I know that Memphis deserved it because they were the 8th seed all year and blase skippity, but they don't have their full team, right? And we know Ja can will them to a win or whatever the case may be, right? But I wanted to see that Blazers and that Suns matchup because the Suns out there looking like they found themselves. And I think a lot of it had to do with their season with Aiden starting off in the suspension.
Yeah, suspension.
I think that just kind of put them in a bad place, and it carried on for the rest of the season. It could be that this is more like AAU and they're younger and it's feeling great, but Devin Booker looked all world. We knew he could score. That's why they paid him. He led the team. It more so looked to me like the team said, we're going to allow him to be that, right? We're not going to try to force ourselves. We're just going to play around him more. And if they continue to do that, do you see them being a playoff team next year?
I can see it. I think this is a great situation for them, to be on a neutral site, not have to worry about road crowds or anything like that. Just get out there and play ball. Mm-hmm. Just go out there and play. And they could just not leave everything on the floor. Mm-hmm. Let's make the best of this experience. I mean, they probably knew we have to go undefeated to even have a chance. Mm-hmm. And, to be invited down there and to have this opportunity, they took full advantage of it. They had to go undefeated and get a lot of help. They didn't get all the help that they needed. But for them to see that they were out there being competitive, it's something we haven't seen in 10 years?
At least.
They've missed the playoffs the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So this is a sign of life for the franchise going forward because, with their ownership and front office, all the shenanigans, all the weird stories we've heard.
Draft picks.
Bad draft picks, bad free agent signings. This is a sign of life. And that's a credit to, I give credit to Monty Williams.
That's what it's about. Even with that, do I see them as a playoff team next year? They play well. However, who are you going to take out? Because a healthy Trailblazers team is not an eighth seeded team.
No.
They're 3, 4, 5, easy. You know what I mean? And a better Memphis team that has this experience and has a Jaren Jackson for the full season, has a second-year job, then they're looking at 7th or 8th. San Antonio is not going to be in a situation where they're not going to be in the playoffs 2 years in a row. Could it happen? Yeah, but you know what I mean? So, could they do it? Of course they definitely could. Now, do you think Booker gets traded?
I talked to some people about it, and it's a possibility if Phoenix has if it's something that they think they should do, if they're going to blow up this, if they feel like they need to get more draft picks, or if they need to get younger players to build around. It doesn't make sense,
right?
But based on history,
it's the Suns.
It could still happen.
And that's what I was going to say. Get more draft picks. Dude, they got enough.
How many more draft picks do you need?
You know what I mean? And he's under contract for at least another 2 years, right? 2 or 3 years, I believe.
3 years,
at least 3 years. Dude, we're gonna have to make this work. We're gonna have to see what this do for at least another year and a half to see what it do. Because if I get rid of him, I'm gonna get not a great player, but when you get salaries got to match, so you're going to get somebody, and then you're going to get some picks. And then now we're in the same revolving door that we've been in the last however many years. All right, so Memphis versus Portland in the play-in game. Who you got?
Memphis held on for dear life to that 8th spot, but not having Jaren Jackson Jr. is really going to put a strain on them. The way Damian Lillard has played, I I know John Morant has had a great rookie season, but I don't see how you take him over Damian Lillard.
Yeah. And, me and Mr. Controversy talked about this previously. He said once Jokic came back and, all of this, they were going to play good. I didn't know if we would be here. But one thing I did say, if we get into a play-in game between the Blazers and the Grizzlies, the Blazers are going to win. And not just because they only have to win one game, but because they're the playoff tested. They're battle tested. They've been here. They've been there.
They were in the Western Conference Finals last year.
Exactly. And now they only got to win one game. Come on, man. If I don't know how hurt C.J. McCollum or how affected he is by his injury, but I would still take Portland. Yeah.
The rest of the roster over Memphis.
Last thing I want to speak on with the NBA is Vlade Divac recently resigned, and Joe Dumars is going to take over his duties until they find an interim. Until they get a GM. So the rumors are that the owner said that Joe Dumars was going to have the final start, going to have the final say on the move that Divac was going to make, and Divac wasn't okay with that. You got any thoughts on that?
Okay. Sacramento has not made the playoffs since 2007.
That was what, Weber and Stojakovic now? Was that even them? Maybe not.
I think Weber was gone by that time. So we're probably talking about the last of Mike Bibby and Ron Artest.
Yeah, Ron Artest.
So it's been a very long time. And everything they've done, all the first round picks they've acquired, look, it doesn't. Vlade, you've clearly done a terrible job.
And with the Luka Doncic, right? We can look at Atlanta and say, hey, they traded him for Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter, right? Hey, Luka turns into this, but you got Trae Young who's good for the culture in Atlanta, and then you wind up getting another top 5 pick. What can you say for Sacramento passing on Luka?
That's not even the worst part of it. I mean, they made draft picks that just didn't work. Ben McLemore, Nick Stauskas, someone named Papagiannis, who I don't know if he even played a game for them. So, and then trading away Cousins because, you lost the trust of your best player at that time.
Right, because he wanted to stay.
Yeah.
He wanted to be a part of rebuilding this team and making it become what it needed to become, and they weren't interested in it. So, that's our hot topic for today. We're going to take a quick break and come back with some NFL news.
Have a sports injury? Need to see an orthopedic doctor? Ortho Atlanta is one of Metro Atlanta's largest orthopedic and sports medicine practices, providing orthopedic and sports medicine care for the whole family. With 37 physicians and 14 offices, the practice provides the highest level of care for injury of muscles, joints, bones, and spine. Ortho Atlanta offers convenient access to a full range of musculoskeletal surgeons and specialists. Ortho Atlanta also offers on-site physical therapy, pain management care, MRI imaging, and workers' compensation care. The Ortho Atlanta surgery centers in Austell and Fayetteville provide cost-effective, same-day surgical procedures in an accredited outpatient center. Hip, knee, shoulder, back pain? Ortho Atlanta has you covered with specialists in all areas. Same-day appointments, orthopedic care for the whole family. Ortho Atlanta, Atlanta's choice for orthopedic and sports medicine care. Learn more at www.orthoatlanta.com.
This is Charlie Batch, 15-year NFL veteran, 2-time Super Bowl champion, and you are listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Welcome back. Now it's time to get down to this NFL thing. And for that, we have a special guest in for today. Rick, what up, man?
Hey, now what's good with you, my brother? How you
Man,
feeling?
chilling, man. How your Saturday start?
Hey, I woke up.
That's it. That's all. A lot of people ain't.
Hey, but yes, sir. And condolences to those that did.
You're absolutely right. Now let's get to this NFL. Do you think the NFL's plan can work?
Probably not, but they don't care. They're going to do it anyway because they got to get their bread.
What is the NFL's plan?
Okay, good, great question. I think they freestyle.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're in the freestyle battle right now.
And
Step 1, get money.
Right.
Step 2,
get
more
money. Step 3, we'll figure the rest out as we go.
Hey, and step 4, if you get sick, you got to go.
You got to go.
Depending on who you are.
Right, because if TB get sick,
hey, bro, they gonna figure it out. They will put all 21 other players in a bubble, and TB will be out there
throwing.
You
know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So it's real crazy. I know they've said something about making sure testing is going on and all of this, I think they're keeping each position player kind of away from each other, and it's just real weird.
When you're on the field, how do you play football?
Right.
You have to touch somebody.
Yeah.
Offensive lineman, defensive lineman.
Every play.
Fullback, middle linebacker.
Every play.
They touching somebody. Maybe if you're a wide receiver, D-back, you might get a few plays off. But there's certain guys that's going to touch each other every play.
Every play.
So, and this helmet thing with the mask thing, how can you breathe in that?
J.J. Watt already said he ain't playing with that.
Bro, I can't see how you breathe. And even if you can breathe, just think if you all of a sudden find out you're claustrophobic.
Right. Bro, you can't play.
You can't.
You can't play.
So I just don't get it. NFL gonna make that bread, man.
And we talked about it previously. There's no way the NFL can do a bubble.
No.
Because if they do a bubble, they're gonna do it in 6 different cities?
Yeah.
And how do you who do you play then? Do you only play conference games? Do you not play out of conference games? You know what I mean? And this season I was really excited because I would have had 4 opportunities to see the Bears. You know, they're gonna play Atlanta, they're gonna play Carolina, they're gonna play Tampa Bay, they're gonna play Tennessee. That was 4 games, so I was excited.
That's not a disappointment to you, though. Shouldn't be a real disappointment.
So and then something else. The coaches are at higher risk, but they not opting out. They don't have a coaches union,
bro. So they got to work. They got to work.
And what happened if one of them? Most of these coaches are 50 plus.
Yes. I mean, they're not concerned about. I'm not gonna say they're not concerned, but it's all about that bread. These stadiums got to get paid for. These TV contracts coming up. These folks want to see something. It's about this bread, man. And the sad, well, I guess the good part with the NFL over the college, at least they have a union.
Mm-hmm.
At least they have somebody that can go to bat for them in case of.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, NFL done told y'all, man, we playing football, man.
And the crazy part is, it seems like everybody down for it is going to let them do what they want to do and play football until somebody gets sick or until somebody die.
Somebody die. What's going to say? This is going to go down to somebody, and then they're going to have to be someone that it really affects them. If
the
53rd man on the team die, now if like I say, if TB12 gets sick, we're gonna have a conversation.
A whole conversation.
Here in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
If Icy.
Right, icy hot.
If Matty Ice gets sick,
Matty Ice,
we gonna have some problems.
Yeah.
If Julio,
it's gonna be a problem.
You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be a problem.
But if long snapper 3
get sick, it's gonna be like, tap him on the butt, be like, all right, man, go sit back in the room for 14 days. We'll get to you.
But you know what? I like what Dallas, and I don't say this. We don't say this often, but it's something Dallas actually did. They are actually staying in the hotels.
Yeah.
In Atlanta also, they staying in the dorms, so they kind of trying to put their own bubble-esque type thing together, I guess trying to keep those guys safe. But I have, with no preseason, and the tackling and the gameplay. Them first 2-3 games are gonna be terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be terrible. We already can't tackle in Atlanta. I mean, call a spade a spade. We already can't tackle in Atlanta. We got 4 preseason games and a full season.
So what the first 3 games gonna look like?
God.
Not just the tackling, like the quarterbacks ain't gonna be on the same page with the wide receivers, the tight ends, the blocking schemes ain't gonna, you know what I mean?
Hey,
like
the quarterback gonna go up under the guard.
Yeah, right. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Been a long time.
Now I know you brought up Dallas a little bit. You want to speak on Jerry Jones and I mean what he said or didn't say? Because did he really say anything?
That's what he been doing for the last
109 days.
That's what he's been saying for the last 50 years. Nothing.
Like he really didn't say anything. He kind of touched on that something will be different. He didn't want to say that he will allow his players to kneel. But you want to speak on that a little bit, G?
Yeah, he said a lot of nothing. You know, like I don't want to say what the plans are. Like, okay, look. Does he want the players to kneel? I'm leaning towards no. He doesn't want you to do anything that is going to embarrass him or the brand.
But the NFL is going in a different way. But he also don't want to get into it with his homie who is
yes.
not running the net. Whatever the dude doing. The dude just taking away the mail ballots and all that. You know the dude.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's a lot going on there. So, you know, we'll see what goes on in Dallas. Now, let's talk about the L.A. Chargers. You guys think Tyrod Taylor's on a short leash?
Tyrod Taylor been on the short leash since he's been in the league.
Into the league.
Always.
But why?
Right, because one year in Buffalo, he like 25 touchdowns and 3 interceptions.
Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he was a Pro Bowler.
Yes.
And he was on the next year
No, he was on short leash then.
That year.
He was on short leash then. It wasn't as short, but they have been looking for a reason to get rid of Tyrod Taylor since he's been in the league.
Do you got any reason why?
Other than?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because look at this. I think the year that he was a Pro Bowler, and I may be wrong, but Rex Ryan was the coach. And he brought in Tyrod. I don't know whose idea it was exactly, but he made him the starters like, well, he looked at his quarterbacks and like, well, this is the best guy we got, so I'm going to put him in. But then he got fired. So then the new coach comes in. And McDermott, and, you know, they tried to make Nathan Peterman happen.
Right.
The Peterman show?
The Peterman show.
Peterman show.
Wasn't that like the first game of the season, too?
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was the first game, but the first half.
Had 5 picks or something?
He had 5 interceptions.
But check this out. That season, when that game happened, the Bills still made the playoffs.
Yes.
And
because of Tyrod Taylor.
Behind Tyrod Taylor.
And then they eventually drafted over Tyrod by drafting Josh Allen. So, I mean, even though the Bills made the playoffs again with Josh Allen, but still, like no one can see him as any long-term answer, like the shortest of terms.
Right. Imagine having that long-term consistency at quarterback and allowing him to do what he needs to do.
Bro, the crazy thing is this man has had to look over his shoulder the entire time. So even though if he was a long term, you always got it in the back of my mind, always in the back of your mind. And to me, and Sheldon said this. Was it Sheldon? I think he said if you have job security, it makes you feel better.
Absolutely. Even in L.A., they got Justin Herbert, right? Didn't they get Justin Herbert?
Yeah.
So he only got 1 year?
Yeah.
Like, regardless, he only got 1 year. Some teams won't have fans, some teams will. You think, can having fans be truly safe?
No, but they got to pay for it. These folks got to get this money.
That's
man.
all it comes down
These
to.
These folks got to get this
That's
money.
all it comes down to.
Because the biggest, I guess they're gonna try to have somebody at the entrances checking temperatures and stuff like that. So they're gonna try to do what they can.
Fauci said the temps ain't even 100% no more.
And then, okay, you got to wear a mask, but once they in there, if me and you supposed to be 6 feet, however many feet apart, if a big play happen on us, man, how do you not? You want to get somebody? Want to be doing jumping up, high fiving myself?
Exactly.
I mean, you're gonna want to do that, and
exactly.
you're gonna eventually want to take that mask. I mean, it's just. Bro,
I definitely agree. Last but not least, Seattle Seahawks have cut Keemon Severin was a rookie cornerback after he was caught on video trying to sneak a female visitor into the team hotel.
Mm-hmm.
She was wearing Seahawks gear in an attempt to disguise her as a player.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got any thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I mean, he was just the first one caught, I believe.
Oh, of course he's just the first one called.
Yeah, I mean,
they've been doing. They were. They had a plan because this has been happening.
Exactly.
It's been working.
This how you do it. So just you
they
just
probably got a new dude at security.
Mm-hmm.
He trying to make rank.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So he following all the rules.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's it for the NFL. We'll be right back with college football.
Or just 6. The staff here at Real 1100 AM would like to encourage you to social distance yourselves. While you may feel disconnected, you can always connect with us at real1100.com. So remain at a safe distance. Call, text, or email a friend and tell them to join you at real1100.com.
There's a lot going on in the world, and your world is always changing. That's why it's important to stay connected. The latest news, the latest entertainment, the newest music. If it's in the air or on the air, it can be in the palm of your hand, wherever you are, with the iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio. Over 1,500 live radio stations from across the country, and over 15 million songs to create your own custom stations. Text IHR to 45495 to download the app or listen at iHeartRadio.com. Standard text and data rates apply.
I'm Maurice Jones-Drew of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL Network, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion. The 3-Point Conversion. The 3-Point Conversion. The 3-Point
Conversion. Welcome back. Now, we was talking about it a little bit earlier. Now it's time to get into this college football. Now, so far, the Big Ten and the Pac-10 already won play. The SEC and the Big 12 say they're moving ahead. Who's making the right decision?
Hey, man. To me, the Big Ten and the Pac-12.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, because this is simple. You do not know what this mess can do to you. You just don't know. And I get it, these kids want to play. That's all they've probably been doing since they were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Mm-hmm. I get it. I love the game, bro. I want the game on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to see someone lose their life by the game.
Yep.
Period. We know the SEC is the king.
Mm-hmm.
And so much money is generated.
Mm-hmm.
Big 12, so much money is generated. So they kind of operate. They kind of operate a little bit NFL-ish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But man, I just don't think. I think this year they should have shut everything down, get this mess out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And then come back and try it again. Because if they do play, you got a shortened season. Then the schools that want to play in the spring,
mm-hmm.
how you gonna play in the spring? Take a couple days off, come back in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Your body,
it's a lot on your body.
Your body cannot take that.
Absolutely.
Football is not a game that's supposed to be played anyway.
No.
Two grown men two kids ain't supposed to be running
each other.
supposed to be running into each other like that.
Play. Yeah.
You can't do it. I mean, I want to see football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure out what was my first love in life, hip hop or football.
Right.
We go back and forth daily.
Absolutely.
I want to see it, but I don't want to see it at the expense of.
Absolutely.
We talked about the last night. When I mentioned Rutgers have 30 positive tests in their team, the football team, 30.
Yeah, and that goes back to old boy sneaking. You got 18, 19, 20, 21.
You expected them to be responsible.
Think they not going to the party?
Come on now.
You think they're not going to that
Some
campus party?
campuses are open. Some campuses are not.
Yeah.
Depending on the state, like the state's opened up. Like everything's normal. So
you know, it's cracking
that
here.
way.
It's cracking here.
Sadly, yes.
So
it is.
what you think gonna be happening at Georgia Tech?
then if you're a frat boy,
Yeah.
your frat throwing something.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
man. It's just too much, too many opportunities. You're not closing down the campus. You let the other students come back in. Now, like I say, the best things about the teams are they kind of can contain.
Yeah.
They have their own
they
medical
can kinda be in a
stuff. They
bubble.
can, yeah.
kinda can bubble.
But what about the other students that come in?
Right.
That don't have the same medical things.
Yeah.
That don't have the same.
And are you gonna let those kids, the football players, go to class? Or are they gonna be complete study hall alone, just being in a gym with just the football team and just doing that? And can some of them learn that way? Some of them need that teacher.
Bruh.
And something that no one's talking about, let's say one of them catches it and they, survive and be okay, right? The long-term effects, right? Because they're saying that some of the long-term effects, you don't start seeing it for months. And we don't know about years.
But we don't know about the Rona.
Right. Somebody developed a heart murmur from it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
it can have
lasting
lung
effect,
issues.
Yeah, lasting effect on your lungs. I mean,
so you could end a player's career just for 2-3 games in college.
And to see, and I always ask this question. Go back to when I was a kid playing. Everybody my football team had asthma when I was growing up. Breathing issues. So you saying all of a sudden now these kids don't have breathing issues coming in?
Right.
And then you got to think about the fat boys.
Exactly.
The offensive linemen, the defensive linemen. They got pre-existing. And then the Penn State kid that already passed.
Exactly.
You have to think about these. I mean,
like it could be passed along too easily. We don't know the long-term effects and what can happen going forward. And to put someone else. And then there's also the law where you already can't sue your employer. So will that also go into the schools, right? Like if someone's NFL career gets, destroyed because of it, what can he do to the school now?
Well, these colleges, they don't have no rights.
Exactly.
They already don't have rights, and that's why the kids out in the Pac-12
tried to do that player union.
Trying to do this group. Yep. This group they don't want to. It's not a player.
Can't say union.
Right? Yeah, you can't.
Not yet.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That's why they're trying to do these groups.
Right.
Because they have no rights. They have no say. They have no insurance. They have no. What happens? What happens? 10 years. I get this. Yeah, you excuse me. Let me keep my. But what happened 10 years? Or say I decide to stay here and play, and I get it. We go bubble. I come back. I play for you. I'm making you millions, but this stuff affects me.
Affects me for the rest of my life.
So it's.
Now, do you think Emmert should cancel the FBS championship?
Who is Emmert?
Why is Emmert president of NCAA?
Why is Emmert? What does this guy?
What is he here for?
Yeah.
What is he?
He run it, man.
He runs
run
what?
it. He run the NCAA, man.
What? Who?
He the president
of who?
NCAA.
Why?
Hey,
what is that?
Hey,
bro, he can't even get his Power 5 commissioners to sit in a room to come up with something collectively to help this. Who is he running? Okay, he might run everything but football. Football college football is its own thing. To me, they need to have their own thing because Emmert, I think he just show up just because.
Now, Dabo believes the championship won't be devalued. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Is Dabo and the owner for the Cowboys the same guy? Because when they both of them, when they open their mouth, they don't
be
say
saying nothing. Yeah, I think it would be devalued.
It's going to be devalued. If you ain't got but 3 conferences playing, you don't have all the best players. Some of these kids are going to opt out. It's not the same. It's not going to be the same. It's not. And then you have so many conferences that has opted not to play. It's not going to be the same. Yep. When you're outside of the pack, outside of the Power 5, you usually get that buy-in team. who you gonna get?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be the same. If you get a SEC, ACC, Big 12, it's going to be a good game because that's really who we really want to see anyway.
Right.
Come on, tell the truth. That's all we really want to see anyway.
That's it.
But it's going to be devalued because of the circumstances.
Absolutely. All right, so that wraps up the college football segment. We'll be right back with our Stop It segment.
Have a sports injury? Need to see an orthopedic doctor? Ortho Atlanta is one of Metro Atlanta's largest orthopedic and sports medicine practices, providing orthopedic and sports medicine care for the whole family. With 37 physicians and 14 offices, the practice provides the highest level of care for injury of muscles, joints, bones, and spine. Ortho Atlanta offers convenient access to a full range of musculoskeletal surgeons and specialists. Ortho Atlanta also offers on-site physical therapy, pain management care, MRI imaging, and workers' compensation care. The Ortho Atlanta surgery centers in Austell and Fayetteville provide cost-effective, same-day surgical procedures in an accredited outpatient center. Hip, knee, shoulder, back pain? Ortho Atlanta has you covered with specialists in all areas. Same-day appointments, orthopedic care for the whole family. Ortho Atlanta, Atlanta's choice for orthopedic and sports medicine care. Learn more at www.orthoatlanta.com.
What's up, people? I'm Real Mike Robb, Super Bowl champion of the Seattle Seahawks. You're listening to 3-Point Conversion. Let's get it.
WWE Hakeville, AM 1100.
The opinions expressed during the sponsored programs on this station are strictly those of the program hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of Beasley Broadcast Group, this station, its staff, other advertisers, or agencies.
Big ups to our Sports Lounge crew for keeping the airways blazing each and every Saturday. But I want to send another special shout out to our team of writers at the 3-Point Conversion. You can visit us at the3pointconversion.com. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. How about the Gram? How about iHeart? How about Spreaker Radio? How about wherever you need it, baby? We got you covered. No mercy. Don't let up on him. Go hard on him, Mr. Controversy. Hit him with the stop it button.
Welcome back. So y'all know what time it is. It's time to get to this Stop It segment. Let's get it.
Stop it. Stop it. Yes. S-T-O-P, new word, I-T. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
G, you want to start with the stoppers today?
Yeah, mine goes to the whoever of these SEC coaches are upset about the opponents that have been added to the schedule from their own conference. So the coaches, the SEC is moving ahead. They're doing a conference-only schedule. But to kind of fill out the schedule a little bit, they've added 2 opponents from the other division. So from the opposite division.
Of the SEC. Right.
So it's still teams in your own conference, but some coaches were upset about how the opponents were picked, and how they think that there's a conspiracy that, Alabama and Florida are trying to keep them from playing each other in back-to-back years, or, one school has to play their two cross-divisional opponents just happen to be both ranked in the top 5.
Oh, so they don't want that smoke, it sound like.
Yeah. I mean, what else did you expect them to do? And they weren't going to let you handle it.
Right.
So what did you expect when they tried to add two opponents that you're supposed to play anyway, that you would normally play? So they need to stop it.
Definitely.
Stop it.
All right, so I got a couple stoppers. Actually, I got 3. One of them is just a whatever, though. The first one is Channing Crowder. He played in the NFL for 6 years. He said every NFL game he played in his 6-year career, he peed himself during the game. He never used the bathroom in a toilet.
Stop it.
Like literally every game. He said his teammates used to move away from him and tell him he nasty. And like I saw a play where he was talking about it. On the field, one of the players was like, dude, come on, man. Like, dude, so you just going to pee on yourself every game?
Stop it.
He definitely don't need to be out here with the Rona.
He definitely don't. Right. They going to let that happen. So my next one kind of go to some of the NCAA coaches. So some of them were nowhere to be found during the social injustices, right? There were a few that said a few things, but now it's time to play, right? With the Rona. That not only were they not there doing social injustice, but when they was talking about paying the players, they were nowhere to be found. Now it's time to just play football with the Rona, and they everywhere. They saying they can figure this out, they can figure that out, they can figure everything out.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh, he has facts. He said facts.
He got facts.
He said facts.
Yeah, y'all going to get to stop it because now y'all know stuff, huh?
Stop it.
They went to Google University.
Right. So this last one, it's just a little basic one, man, because it's funny for me. I got to give a stop at the Dame Lillard because that shot he took was ridiculous. He hit it, and I'm not giving him a stop it for being bad. I'm giving him a stop it for being so nasty with it, man. That shot was ridiculous, dude. How you step one step in the half court and just launch it?
Some people talk about guys who can shoot if they have Curry range. We need to rename it to Lillard,
it's Lillard Lane
because he will take that shot.
He said he told Stotts already he ready for it. He gonna take a half court. He said he shoot them in practice like it's not. Man, if I see that, I might have to turn the TV off and miss the rest of the game.
Stop it.
All right, so that wraps it up for our Stop It segment. We're gonna come back with a couple of NBA awards to talk about during this bubble segment.
Let me break down to y'all what's so dope about the three-point conversion. First of all, everybody is a fan of the game first. Second of all, everybody is a student of the game second. And third of all, we're the average sports fan just like everybody else. We're not coming in here, walking with our nose tipped high, acting snooty, acting brand new. This is a grassroots organization. Bar none. The three-point conversion, where fans' opinions matter. Be sure to visit the website www.the3pointconversion.com. Get your fix, get your articles, multimedia, and everything else that you, as a sports fan, need. So again, the3pointconversion.com. It's where it's at, man, where fans' opinions matter.
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports?
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
Entertainment?
Are you not entertained?
And other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the Real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
Hey, what's up? This is Aaron Gordon, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Welcome back on this dreary Saturday. Still gonna be pretty hot outside. I think it's supposed to get up to 85 with rain and stuff. So when it rains, it's gonna get all sticky and
You'll feel like you're in a pot of soup.
Exactly. Now let's get to these. Wait, before we get to that, old boy Channing Crowder went to North Springs High School. So Sandy Springs, y'all got to take that L. Now, let's get to these NBA awards, man. I guess let's start it off, man, with the bubble MVP. I'm sure it's a few out there that we can throw out, but I'm sure there's gonna be pretty unanimous on who we go with. Rick, you want to start off with that? Who you can see as the bubble MVP?
You just gave him a stop. Dang dollar. I mean, and if Phoenix Suns Booker was on, I guess if it was a little better over there, he'd be in consideration. But it's Dame Dollar hands down, Dame.
What you think, G?
Yeah, you got to go with Lillard. You got to go with him. I mean, there's been no one more important to their team than him to Portland in this run. So, I mean, there are other guys. I mean, Booker was amazing. T.J. Warren came out of nowhere. Luka had some crazy triple doubles. James Harden was good. Porzingis was good. Michael Porter Jr. had a couple breakout games. So, but in comparison to Lillard, I think you got to go with him. Booker, if you say Booker, I'm not going to hold you on that, but I got to go with Lillard.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely Lillard. I mean, the 3 games, right?
Yes.
The last 3. And we haven't even gotten to the one today, right? Just the last 3 games. 61, 53 or 51 or whatever, and 40 something. Come on, man.
Yeah, 40. He had 42.
Yeah, 40. That's ridiculous.
That's
man.
$150 in 3 games.
Right, and then like when he had the 42, luckily McCollum helped him out. They doubled him. If they hadn't doubled him, we talking about 3 straight games of 50.
Yeah.
Like easily.
Yeah.
And the percentage in that 40-point game, he shot like 60, 70%. He was ridiculous. Like he's being efficient. And he's passing the ball too.
Yes.
I think he had 42 and 9.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So he's out there doing his thing.
Can McCullough get some kind of award, man? That dude playing on the broke back.
Yeah, he can probably get the Tough Man Award.
He's playing on the broke back.
He needs something. Yeah, because he could.
And he balling.
He kept him in the game in the first half.
Dog, that's what this kid. That's what he's been doing his entire time.
And I think that's kind of what Dame was like. Like, man, because when you first get out there, you able to get it warm and get it going. But when you get to sitting, it start tightening it up.
Yes.
Dame was probably like, man, just kind of do a little something early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll do what I need to do later on.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it kind of worked out.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he definitely did his thing. Now let's talk about this regular season MVP.
Nick Nurse.
Regular season, the MVP.
Oh, MVP. I'm sorry. I thought I got it for my bad. All 3 of them. I mean, you got to go with Giannis.
Yeah.
You almost have to go with Giannis because Giannis actually improved from what he did last year. Now, but I guess that's playoff is going to be, is that jumper is going to sustain? I mean, but you got to go with Giannis. I mean, as much as LeBron has done this year, and he's done big, but it's like when it's not on, it just
it ain't on,
and it's awful. So, but you got to go with Giannis, and you have to give props to the beard.
Oh yeah,
Harden is playing some ball.
Yeah, his average this year is ridiculous. He had 36.5, something crazy.
And every now and then he played D.
He did. He did play some defense every once in a while. It wasn't Ola.
I mean, you weren't gonna get it, you know. But he let you know that.
But and that's the crazy part is because he has the ability to play defense.
Yes,
like he's strong, he's fast, he has a high basketball IQ. So if he wants to, he can play some D.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I've seen him stay in front of some guys in his bubble. I was surprised,
bro. What he did to Giannis.
Yeah, I was surprised.
What that last minutes of the game, what he did, man, I was like,
I was surprised.
Yeah, you forgot that he could actually do this.
Yeah. What you think, G?
Regular season MVP. I gotta go with Giannis. I think that he's been as far if we're including the whole regular season, of course. He's been the most important player to his team, and it shows in their record. That's how I look at it. So I got to go with Giannis. I don't know what they're going to do in the playoffs, but in the regular season, they did pretty good.
Yeah, and I definitely got to agree with both of y'all. And even on the stats, his PER was ridiculous this year. He was averaging 30.5 minutes a game. Now imagine if he played 38. He'd average, 40 a game? 18 rebounds? You know what I mean? Something crazy. So it's definitely Giannis. Definitely give a shout out to what Bron did in year 17.
Bruh.
Like, you can't take nothing away from nothing he did in year 17.
And even any given time, still the faster man on the court.
On the court.
In his 17th
and get to the rim when he wants to. So you can't take that away. But when I look at what Giannis does with, and I know he has an overall probably a more complete team, I would say, than the Lakers.
Yeah.
But his second superstar isn't a top 5 MVP, possibly vote getter himself. You know what I mean?
But has been playing better.
He has been playing better. I think that's one of the things with me. Like I like Chris Middleton, but I don't know how far you can go with him being your number 2 star. And I know, again, he's an all-star. He's playing great this year. He has
this
high
playoff
PER.
is going to tell a lot of the story on him. Him and Giannis, this playoff is going to tell a lot of the story because they're going to have to be able to knock down some key jump shots and key moments. And Bledsoe.
Yep.
These guys are going to have to stand up.
And if not, we're going to see what Giannis is going to do because now it's going to be his decision to do what he want to do.
Yes,
sir. I've given you guys opportunities, right? Wouldn't you both say Giannis gave them last year, this year, opportunities to build a team around me. We got to where we can go. Maybe this is our ceiling.
Been the best teams in the last two regular
years.
seasons.
So maybe that's it. Sometimes you can only go so far with a team.
Is that Bud legacy?
It kind of is if he doesn't win.
Great regular season coach?
Great regular season coach. But, honestly, them matching up against the Lakers, that's a good matchup. Even if they match up with the Clippers, that's a good matchup, man.
Yeah.
That could be a good finals, man.
Yeah. But like I say, it's going to depend on can Middleton and Giannis knock down big-time jump shots when they count. Because they're not going to just let Giannis two-step to the rim every time.
And can Bud out-coach Doc?
Can Bud
I don't think he can
out-coach
him. He can't like that. Okay, not out-coach him, but coach up to par, right? Like, at least somewhere near, right? Like, we talking about Doc Rivers, right? He's going to go down as one of the greatest coaches ever, right? But we saw what he did in Atlanta. Had them with the best regular season record. I think they had 4 All-Stars that year, right?
And who was on the team? Exactly.
But I think that with Coach Bud right now, what he'll have the reputation of is he can maximize who you give him.
Right.
But it's going to be a matter of, okay, we need to bring in somebody to put this team over the top.
Right.
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten to that yet. As far they haven't taken that step yet, but that is a step they'll need to take.
I think even with that, like who you give him, who's going to come to Milwaukee? Like as a player, right? Like who would you be like, hey, I want to go to Milwaukee?
Yeah, but you even with Giannis being
who went to Milwaukee, right? Bledsoe was traded there. Middleton was drafted there.
The Lopez brothers.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, but big name free agent. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's going there. Coach of the year. So I'm going to start there. I'm going with Nick Nurse.
I jumped forward and went on to say it. Yeah,
like you lose arguably the best player in the league. You know what I mean? He's Finals MVP. He did what he did, and They was willing to lose what they lost to get their championship. They got it. So everybody's thinking, oh, it's over for the Raptors. Yeah, they'll make the final. They'll make the playoffs, but hey, it's over for them. Look at them. They number 2 in the East. Not only are they number 2, everybody's playing their role and know what the role is. Big shout out to Kyle Lowry. I never liked this game, but he's the leader on that team. He is showing he's the leader. He's making big plays when plays need to be made, and he's huddling them together, telling them that's how we need to do it.
Did he have to get rid of DeRozan?
Lowry?
For him to be able to shine and step, because I know they both.
Not exactly. Not exactly.
Because DeRozan isn't that type of player.
I think with DeRozan, it gave them. I mean, DeRozan is a guy that can get his own shot, but also the way that Toronto plays now, the floor is open for others. DeRozan lives in the mid-range area, and he still does that now. But what I give credit to Nurse for is you found somebody in Fred VanVleet that can play the point guard and be the off guard and be a spot up shooter. You got somebody in Siakam who can
that boy dog.
Get his own shot, and he's going to have a lot of 6 for 18 games, but it's still important that he gets those shots to make the defense at least think about him. So, and the way they play defense, they are.
And I think just last year overall really helped him. You know what I mean? Getting that experience from Kawhi, right?
Yes.
Getting that confidence from Kawhi. You know what I mean?
And even playing without Kawhi, because Kawhi did a lot of they know they already knew how to play without Kawhi in a lot of games. So I think it helped.
The thing also with them playing defensively, Nurse is known to mix things up. Like, even though I'm not a fan of zone, but he will try zone. He'll try a 2-3,
a trap zone.
He'll try a triangle and 2.
Box and 1.
Didn't he try a box and 1?
Yes.
He run into a box and 1 in the NBA. That's a defense people haven't seen since high school.
Yeah. And that's what he be putting on Giannis, and that's kind of slows Giannis down.
Bro, he put a wall up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's who you going with, 2G?
Yeah, I got to go with Nick Nurse. I mean, no one expected this.
No.
Maybe a 7-8 seed. Maybe we gave Kawhi too much credit, but what they've done this year and how they're still a threat to Milwaukee.
Yeah. You better believe it.
If you're picking the Raptors to win the East, I mean, it's not a crazy
not a
pick.
bad look.
That's my sleeper team. If they're a sleeper team.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, rookie of the year. Who you got, G?
John Morant. It was John Morant in November. It's John Morant today. I mean, Zion had a great 5 minutes, but I don't know how he's a finalist. But I got to go with John Morant. Kendrick Nunn had a great season too. But I think John Morant is far and away rookie of the year.
Absolutely.
Ja. I mean, bro. Yeah. I mean, like I said, we love Zion. And everybody want to see the potential of Zion. What he gonna be? Will his body let him be what he's supposed to be? Is he gonna do what he's supposed to do to keep to not help his body hurt his career? That's the only reason they even stretched this bubble out, added some players because they wanted to get him in.
Zion
they wanted Zion there bad.
Zion out there.
But it's Ja hands down, man.
Yeah, I definitely agree. When the draft first happened, I was hoping that the Bulls was going to be able to get the second pick so that they can get him. Because that's how dope he is. Like, I really like Shorty. He got game. And not only got game, he got confidence.
Yes.
He brings his team up. We talking about a team that had the number 2 pick last year. And the only big pickup was him. Brandon Clark was drafted the year prior, right?
This year.
He was drafted. So Brandon Clark and Ja. And they go from being a number 2 pick to, I'm saying the playoffs because if it was in the AFC, they probably would have been straight.
The youth of them is shown.
Yeah, and especially in the bubble.
Yeah.
Especially in the bubble. But I got Ja.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that excuse me. I would like to see what the full season would have been because I may have still said Ja. Right? I like Zion, right? But I don't know
something
how that
special about
full
that Ja.
season would have been, right?
Yeah.
Like you know what Ja was gonna bring night in and night out. Yeah. You know, and not to say Zion this, that, and the third, but you're gonna get, you know, the big drives to the hole, dunking on people. But the way Ja controls the game,
yes,
and being a point guard,
yes,
I think it's different. I think what helps Zion is having Lonzo Ball. You know what I mean, having a point guard that can put it exactly where it needs to be put.
And Ingram, Brandon Ingram, keeps a lot off him too. Because with him knocking down shots and doing everything, that kind of keeps some of that pressure off Zion.
Yep.
But Ja is just
All right, now let's talk about the most improved player. Who you got, Rick?
An unpopular answer: Slim Melo.
Oh yeah,
Slim Melo.
Gonna go with Slim Melo.
Slim Melo. Bro, what Melo has done this year, they wrote him off.
Yeah, I hate that too. Bro.
Everybody wrote him off. What happened in Houston? What happened in OKC?
What happened in Houston wasn't even his fault. Man.
Yeah. To me, it's Melo. Brandon Ingram. I mean, I guess realistically, I would say Brandon Ingram. But something about Melo, man. Excuse me. When Melo turned his game into this year, it's been big for Portland.
I definitely like that. That is a good shout out to Melo, man. I think not only was it him getting in a position like that, I think it was also a mental thing, knowing that he need to like this could be it. So I need to definitely go out here with a better mindset. But like you said, overall, the year that Ingram had but people fail to realize he averaged 17 last year. So he wasn't a bum last year. No. You know what I mean? But the stride that he made, becoming a player he is, of course he's probably going to get the max now. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he had a good year. Watching him, I was thinking he was going to fall off and kind of tail off. He never did.
You didn't know. And then if you listen to what a lot of the prognosticators were saying about him, it almost made can he play? Yeah. But then he showed you this kid can play ball.
Yeah. And they say he needs to gain weight. KD never gained weight.
KD gained weight. He gained like 15.
Right. Yeah. And that's grown man weight, right?
Tayshaun Prince never gained weight.
Exactly. So who says he necessarily
Reggie Miller never gained weight.
Ever. What you got, G?
Mr. Controversy's in the chat. He asked who are the finalists. It is Brandon Ingram, Bam Adebayo, and Luka Doncic. First of all,
you can't sleep on Bam.
A stop it for putting Luka in.
Stop it. Yes.
I think Bam had a great year. All three made the All-Star team. Brandon Ingram, the only knock on him is that once Zion started playing, it looked like his production fell off a little bit. But I think that it's still an improvement over last year.
Yeah, I agree though. Yeah, I agree. It seemed like they started going to Zion more and looking for him more than just playing the game and letting it evolve.
Yeah, and then but you can see still a few holes in Brandon's game because one game in the bubble you watch him, he went for like 20-something the first half and couldn't find it the second half. So he still has some consistency things. Right. But it's just like, and I forget Bam, and you almost want to give it Bam for the work he does on Giannis.
Period.
The work he does on Giannis when they play, you almost want to say, dog.
And he can bring the ball up.
Yes.
They run the offense through him, so he definitely gonna get some votes. Yes. But overall, I'm gonna say I think we're gonna go with Brandon Ingram. Let's go with the 6th Man of the Year award. Who you got, G?
I thought this would eventually become the Lou Williams Award, and even though he is a finalist, I think Montrezl Harrell had a bigger impact this year.
You almost want to go with Lemon Pepper Lou, just because it's Lemon Pepper Lou. But Montrez, he brought something different. He brought another some heart, some attitude, that toughness, that mutt off that you need, along with what Lou does. Yeah, I got to go with Montrez too.
I kind of want to go with both of them because I think they do it together. Because when they come in the game, that pick and roll they run together.
Yeah, Lou averaged 18 and 6 assists, and Montrez averaged almost 19 and 7 rebounds. So it's like you can't go wrong picking either one of them. But what do y'all think about Dennis Schroeder? He's the other finalist.
Oh, that's a
yeah.
I mean, you can't get mad at it, right?
No, you really can't.
You really can't get mad at it, right? Like Dennis Schroeder comes out, does what he need to do. He's also teaching Shay again. I always mess up his name or whatever. Shay, he's also been a part of helping him become a future superstar.
Shay gonna mess
He's
around.
He's their second leading scorer.
Shay gonna mess around and be one of the greatest ever because the 2 guys he's learning from.
His size.
Man. Yeah.
And the way he's able to wiggle and woo. I mean, I guess you can't go wrong with any of them. Dennis Schroeder is the second leading scorer, and he's coming off the bench. I know he started some games, but not many. And they're right there, like with their 5 seed. So you really can't get mad at that record. They weren't expected to be there. He's a big part of it. I mean, you can't go wrong either way. But man, I think I slide it to Montrez and Lou.
Yeah, if there's a way,
I don't think it's ever happened. But they did it with Rookie of the Year before. Hey, and then in a few years they just gonna have to name it the Lou Williams Award. Matter of fact, Lemon Pepper Lou. Yeah, Lemon Pepper Lou. All right, last but not least, Defensive Player of the Year. I'm gonna start it off with this. Giannis. I think it's gonna be what? It hasn't happened since Michael Jordan won it in what? It was 88.
Hakeem did it in 94.
Oh, okay, Hakeem in 94. Hasn't happened since Hakeem in 94. I think he's going to get the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. We know Gobert does it. Gobert does his thing. It's just not sexy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not sexy. You know what I mean? We've been in the bubble. We've been having this going on. We need some sexiness. We need it to be popping. We need it to be something interesting.
Yeah.
Giannis does it, man, both ends of the court.
Mm-hmm.
He does it not only at the rim, he does it on the perimeter. He can completely take your best player out.
He's a cheat code, man.
Yeah, he is. He's Mike Vick on what, 04 Madden?
Yeah. I mean, when he stretches his arms out, man, I mean, it's a cheat code. Yeah.
I think it's hard to say. It has to be hard to say Gobert because not only did he make the NBA shut down. No, it's not.
but
it kind of is. But
and he made the world because that's when the country started shutting down.
He shut down the world.
But I think that I mean, it's hard to he'll win it for the 3rd year in a row, but I don't feel like a lot of people look at him as in the same realm as a defensive player as Dwight Howard was, or Dikembe Mutombo, or Hakeem Olajuwon. I know it's a different era, and the big man is asked to do something different as far as defensively. I have a hard time picking Gobert. I think Giannis would win it based on he's the best defender on the best defensive team statistically in the league. And Anthony Davis, he might get some votes just because, we got to give him something. We can't right. be the MVP, and so it has to be. I think some voters may just want to give a vote to Anthony Davis, but I would pick Giannis. I think he's the best defender on the defensive team in the league.
Real quick, is all this another knock on Coach Bud if he does not do something with them this year?
It kind of is. Depends on how they go out. Because in Atlanta, swept by Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals. Last year against Toronto, they went up 2-0, right?
Yeah.
And it looked like they had everything handled. So it really looks at it has to be context as if they lose, how they lose. Okay. I mean, if they get swept, it looks bad. If they lose in 7, if it's someone other than Toronto, it looks bad.
Now they get to the finals and losing 5.
Still looks bad.
Yeah.
It still looks bad. Yeah, so I mean, there's certain. It depends on the context in which they lose.
Do anybody think that they can win the finals?
They have a chance, but it's going to be. It has to be a third guy to step up offensively.
Bledsoe's
got to hit some shots.
Stepped up in the playoffs.
You hadn't seen.
Or if Brook Lopez just goes off hitting 5-6 3-pointers a game.
Well, he does that one game.
Right, I was finna say, he said a game. He'll do it one time. Right.
He'll do it one game.
Per game.
He'll do it once.
Per game.
I mean, you see,
once, maybe
bro,
twice.
I mean, one game.
Yeah, he'll get lit.
Woo!
You would think they got a chance, then he come out and go 0 for 9.
Yes.
All right, that wraps up the NBA awards. We're going to get to some MLB. Talk about this baseball in a minute.
Kids follow your lead. Help them stay healthy. Wash your hands. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth. And cover coughs and sneezes. Clean and disinfect the objects you touch often, like your phone, the remote, and doorknobs. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. And if you're the one who's sick, stay home. This station is part of the Beasley Best Community of Caring, and we care about your family. For more info, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19.
Hey folks, just a quick reminder that no matter the time of the day and no matter what day of the week, East Coast, West Coast, all points in between, we are always on. So go to your app store and download the Real 1100 app and listen wherever and whenever.
The Real.
Yo, this is Champ Bailey, 2019 Pro Football Hall of Famer. I just want to give a shout out to my boys at 3-Point Conversion Radio. There it is.
Welcome back. And we mentioned on it a little bit earlier, just a little bit, but let's dive a little bit more into it. Dive into this baseball, man. So the Chicago Cubs have started out really, really, really hot. Now, they did lose last night. I think they lost 4-3. Yelich hit a home run. Excuse me. But overall, they're 13-3, 13-4. They got a 5-game lead. They have the best record in the league. 19-run differential, 8-2 in the last 10. Their pitching has been phenomenal, except for the relief. And the bats actually aren't even doing much yet. So, G, what you think was working for them?
Well, I mean, I would. You're the Cubs guy, so I asked that. I put that question in for you.
All right. So overall, this is what's working for them. The starting pitching is ridiculous right now. You know, they're averaging like 1 or 2 runs, if that. And the offense, as long as the offense is getting about 3 to 4 runs a game, they're able to hold on. The problem is the relief pitching, and it showed up. It roared its ugly head last night. They were up 3-1, which the bases were loaded. It was 1 out. Javi was up. I was like, yo, we need at least 1 more run. He struck out. Then I think someone else came out and struck out. And I was like, dude, that's going to mess around and turn into being an issue. And lo and behold, Yelich hits a 3-run dinger in the 6th. And that's the game there. So the pitcher, it was the starting pitcher that actually wound up giving it up. Maybe he stayed in a little bit too long. But overall, John Lesher's pitching like he's 25. Kyle Hendricks is out there doing his thing. Yu Darvish almost had a no-hitter the other day. And they need to stop in the 5th and 6th inning.
Like, what do you mean?
Sending alerts saying that no-hitter through the 5th.
Yeah, like it's. I mean, baseball has all these unwritten rules, but one of them is like if a guy has a no-hitter, don't talk to him.
Don't sit by.
Don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it. It's the 6th. It's the 5th inning, and the 4-letter network sending out alerts saying that this. Dude, you know how many outs they got to get?
If you say in the 5th or 6th, yeah, you have to stop it.
Right.
But if it's in the 9th with 2 outs. Then maybe you could sit out and alert because by the time you get that alert out, we're gonna know what's
going on. I was watching the game last night. The announcers was like, "Yeah, he's throwing a gem." It was the 5th inning. It was the 4th inning. It was like, it was the middle of the fifth. He was shutting the Cubs out, no hits. You know what happened? The Cubs scored 3 runs in that inning. Like, dude, it's the 5th inning, man. Like, let them play ball and let it get to the 7th or 8th, and then maybe you can whisper something about it. But, like, doing all of that, that's way too much. But overall, I think the Cubs can keep it up. The Cubs can literally play 500 baseball from here on and still go to the playoffs. So even if they play a little bit better, the lead that they've gotten, they should be straight. And that's all you pretty much can ask for. Now, let's get to some serious business as far as this. The Cards are way behind schedule. They have literally played 5 games. Do you think there's any advantages or disadvantages to playing catch up?
I think there'll be some disadvantages as far as if they had to play more doubleheaders. I believe there's a doubleheader scheduled for them today against I think they're playing the White Sox. I think they're playing 2 today. So they'll have to do that more often. If they're trying to get to these 60 games, I mean, that's up to the major leagues. If they're trying to make sure everybody plays 60 games, then they are going to do 60 games by any means necessary, it appears. So the players will be playing 2 games a day several times over the next couple of weeks or few weeks. That can wear down the players, especially your pitching staff. If you have the same kind of strategy as far as relief pitchers. But I mean that's the main disadvantage that I see.
Yeah. As far as advantage, I don't think there is an advantage because your players aren't playing. Like they're unable to get into, any type of rhythm. Like I was just saying about the Cubs, nobody's really hitting. I think there's like 3 people hitting. I think Contreras and a few other people are like hitting. Brian hasn't caught his stride. Rizzo hasn't really caught his stride. Javi hasn't caught his stride. And they're still sitting at 13-4. So imagine once they start really hitting. You got the Cards, they played 5 games. They got 5 games. And that was 3 weeks ago? So now they got to try to get in rhythm. Not only do they got to try to get in rhythm, they got to play double headers probably for the next 2 weeks. Now these double headers are only going to be 7 innings, which is probably going to help the pitchers because if your starter goes 6 innings, then you're all right. But overall, and let's say they don't be able to get all of the games in, right? Like, what do you do then? Like, let's say they end up playing 40 games. Is because they have a better winning percentage than this other team, do they automatically get to the playoffs? Or how does that work? Because that's going to be interesting for me. Let's say by the end of the season, they are unable to play their 60 games. Now, I know a couple games, you'll be like, yeah, it's a couple games, no big deal. You can't really get too mad at that. But what if it's 20 games?
Yeah, it's hard to see that if they're going to get to that many, if they're going to get the full 60 games. And I know in baseball, if it's a couple of games and the team is out of the playoff race, then those games won't be made up unless it's necessary for the other team that's trying to get into the playoffs. But like Mr. Contreras said in the chat, their record is -1-5. So, I mean, it's only a few games, but it depends on how they respond in playing these double headers. So I think that will really determine if they're how many games they're actually going to end up playing is how they respond with playing these double headers. And it could be catastrophic to the careers long term. Or maybe not. Maybe they rally together. Like, it's us against the world. I mean, that is your own fault why you're in this situation. But,
right.
But it's going to come down to how they play.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. 5 games while everybody else is at like 17, 18. Like, you got 13 games.
Oh, I know we talked about the quick hits that a player on the Reds tested positive. the rest of the series against the Pirates has been postponed.
See?
So there you go.
That's what's going on. And the Cards manager says the team did nothing egregious. And the coach, McGee, opted out for the rest of the season. So
somebody did something.
Right. Somebody did something.
Like denial isn't helping us here.
Exactly. Now Cleveland sent Plesac and Clevenger to an alternate site for violating protocol. You think that's fair or unfair?
I think it was I kind of think it was fair because this was after, MLB sent the memo, or, they knew the rules. They knew the protocol. And even though it's your friends and you're in town and everyone's being safe or whatever, you have to, there are proper precautions in place. Like you're not supposed to leave the hotel. And I think they brought their stuff with them. Like they had their uniform or equipment with them when they went to visit these friends. So I think it's fair to do that because I think, and it probably looks in a way that they lost the trust of their teammates because it's something like they already knew and they still went out.
Yeah. So I think that I would have suspended them, not just send them to an alternate site. Reason I say that is because they broke team curfew, left the hotel, went out to dinner and socialized with friends. They sent Plesac a car service, and Clevenger didn't tell the organization he was with them, and he flew home with the team. So yeah, I think
that's even worse.
Yeah, I think Clevenger probably would get more games because what if he had got infected and got the whole team infected? And as far as Plesac, I mean, you broke breaking curfew usually gets you some type of punishment, right? You're gonna get a punishment for breaking curfew. Yeah. But you broke curfew to go out with your friends during coronavirus when we're trying to keep coronavirus away, and you saw what happened with the Marlins and already saw what happened with the Cardinals. You're lucky that that's the only thing happened, and it's not what happened with the Seattle Seahawks cornerback. I think that that's a big drastic what they did. I think they could have suspended him or something like that, but they just cut him off completely, and that's letting people know how serious this is, because, I mean, like you said, what if the girl had came in and got the whole hotel sick or the whole team sick, so I think that it's fair, and I think it should have been more. So wait, so they're going to the alternate site just to train?
Well, yeah. Not sure what that consists of. Or maybe this is their version of, okay, y'all, this is your quarantine, I guess.
Right.
Until we say you can come back.
So this is suspension, really?
I think in a way it is, but it doesn't hurt anyone's money, I guess. Mm-hmm. And the Cleveland can just use the roster spots in a different way.
All right, now this is this looked like a suspension to me, and if it is a suspension, they definitely deserve it.
If it is that, then you can't bring them back. I mean, just send them there and then just say, okay, we don't need you.
Yeah, that was selfish. That was selfish. We can talk about the Lou Will thing for a minute, but he went to a funeral. Yeah, he went and got some lemon pepper wings, but they got a whole thing that they go through or whatever, right? Like, dude just came back and just flew with the team to the crib.
And the thing is, a lot of people mention with Lou that he went to Magic City, got the wings, and that's why he was put in attendance. He was put in there because he didn't test every day.
Exactly.
If he had was testing every day,
he would have had the 4-day.
Right. Or it might have been 24 hours.
Yeah,
well, you tested every day, and yeah, you did go there, and that's not a good look.
Right.
But you still follow the protocol of testing every day.
Right.
So it's like he had to have already known before he went there that it would be 10 days.
Exactly.
So, but people have blown it out of proportion just because of where he was.
Right. Because if it was Pizza Hut, it wouldn't have been no problem.
Right.
It would have been, it is what it is. All right, so that wraps up our baseball segment. Be right back with Ask a Doc. Let's get to these injuries. Some big ones out here.
What's good, family? I'm Marlon Sucker Free Jones, a Sucker Free Life Double LC, and I'm locked in every Saturday to the best sports show on the planet, the 3-Point Conversion, with no team or no players off limits. So let's talk sports, the best of the best, the worst of the worst, and everything in between. Can you dig that?
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports,
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
entertainment,
Are you not entertained?
and other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the Real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
Yo, what's up, baby? This your boy, Deontay the Bronze Obama Wilder, and you're listening to my guys at 3-Point Conversion, baby. Yeah.
Welcome back. And this is the time where we get into these injuries and we ask the doc. And on the line, we have our cousin, Dr. Fowler. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, doing well. Got a tire fix on the car. Just trying to make sure I can move around still.
Yeah, I know that was a little frustrating within itself. Other than that, you had a great morning?
Yeah, all good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. Ready for this basketball playoffs, so hopefully it's a little bit more interesting than the bubble has been. So, well, last week the bubble's been real crazy. Have you enjoyed it?
I have. Honestly, watching Game Against the World has been pretty damn entertaining. So
that's what it's looked like too. Let's get to some of these injuries. Now, Russell Westbrook is out for the start of the playoffs with a strained quad muscle, and his return depends on how he responds to treatment. How can you tell if he responds well or not, and what might be the process for reevaluating him?
Yeah, so he actually, I think, came back and played on Tuesday, and everyone said that he was doing fine on Tuesday, but then Wednesday woke up, was sore. They got an MRI, and sounds like it showed a little bit more kind of fluid or edema, strain, however you want to say it, than they expected, which is why he's now shut down. It's going to be kind of one of these. I'll say day to day, but I think it's going to be more, honestly, week to week. I think he's out at least for the next week, and they've already basically come out and said that he's going to at least miss the first week of the playoffs and reevaluate. But a lot of it is just going to depend on if he's still having any soreness or inflammation, how he kind of responds to kind of the various, ultrasound, electrical stimulation, the treatments they're giving him, and how he starts moving, running, and trying to get back on the court. So I'm sure they'll be keeping an eye on him day to day. They may even repeat an MRI closer to the time to make sure that everything looks okay. But my guess is probably 10 to 14 days before he's back.
That looks like the entire
That's the first round.
Yeah.
at best.
Right.
Yeah.
Now with we weren't on last week, but I'm sure you heard about the injury with Braves pitcher Mike Soroka tearing his Achilles tendon, and of course he's out for the rest of the season. Being ready for opening day 2021 appears to be in doubt. But what's a realistic timetable to return, especially for a pitcher?
Yeah, and Achilles. I mean, we see Achilles in basketball and even football. I think we might go another decade before we see a baseball pitcher tearing his Achilles because it's such a freak thing in the moment for him. And Achilles, just regardless of what you do, is really tough to rehab from. I mean, a lot of people think it's harder than an ACL or some of the other things that we see more commonly. A lot more has to go into it around the ankle, kind of a smaller joint that you're still having to put all your weight through, and obviously your Achilles is in control of all your push-off strength connected to your calf muscle. So it's honestly still probably going to be close to a full year for a true 100% recovery. I think what is favorable for him, if I'm not mistaken, it's not his kind of push-off leg when he pitches, it's his plant leg. So, he'll be running probably somewhere between 4 to 6 months from the injury and throwing. I do think opening day will probably be, assuming that it's April and coronavirus isn't 1,000 times worse by then, but I think he'll be back next season, but I think opening day will be a little bit of a stretch because I do think it'll be closer to a year before he's really ready and comfortable.
And Derek Jones Jr. took a hard screen and was on the floor for several minutes before being taken off on a stretcher. He was able to move his extremities when he left the court. He's reported to have a neck strain. How should this kind of injury be treated? How long could he possibly be out?
Yeah, anytime you're talking about the spine, neck in particular, even more so than in the back, obviously that controls all your extremities and function. So the biggest thing is making sure the spinal cord itself is good. I'm sure they'll be doing scans and MRIs and making sure there's no fluid, again, around the spinal cord or anything that would put him at risk prior to trying to rehab back. So obviously great to see that he's moving everything. Not going to have any permanent ill effects, but certainly anytime you're talking about the spinal cord, you're going to take that very slow.
All right, the last one we got for you here, guy for your team, the Washington football team, Reuben Foster. He's been activated from the PUP list after tearing his ACL and LCL with his first practice with Washington last year. I think it was in May. Now, he's had over a full year to recover. Just from your perspective, what would you look for if you needed to clear him to play and you've had that timetable?
Yeah, so obviously one of the things you certainly just want to hear is the players not having any pain and hopefully being upfront about that mentally, which a lot of people kind of don't realize is an important factor, that mentally that they feel like they're really back and confident and ready, because if you have that doubt, it could certainly change how you're moving and playing out there. But then from a physical standpoint, we do all kinds of different tests. We measure the circumference of the quads on either leg to make sure that they're symmetrical and the muscular strength is back. We put, patients and players through dynamic testing for strength, have them do one-legged hop tests and kind of compare side to side, and basically make sure that the leg that was operated on is as close to a mirror image of the other leg as possible before you're really truly clearing them back to play.
A quick little follow-up question. It kind of is on the ACL, and I just want to ask this. Now, when Clay comes back, when the season starts next year, we don't know when it'll be. I think they said late January, maybe early March. Do you think there will be any restrictions with him?
I don't think so. Again, obviously it's a long time between now and then, and just obviously if he doesn't have any setbacks in his rehab, I think he wouldn't have any true restrictions. Now, again, I think some of it depends on how much court time, depending on how summer, ball and training and everything else is set up as far as, how quickly they get you out there. Because being cleared and having no restrictions is one thing, but kind of game shape and being able to play, 30-plus minutes a game is a whole other thing. So I think that's just kind of going to be the main thing, is to kind of manage him and gradually work him back into game shape.
All right, thank you. Appreciate you, Dr. Fowler. That was Ask the Doc. We'll be right back to wrap up the show.
Hey folks, Handsome Josh is here to reveal some big news to all the AM 1100 listeners.
I have an app.
That's right, you can now check out all your favorite programs right here on The Real with the Real 1100 app. Whether it's sports, entertainment, or lifestyle, the Real 1100 definitely has you covered.
So why don't you just tell me how much it's going to cost me?
And here's the best part. It's available in your Google Play or Apple App Store, and it's free to download.
Actually, you can count me in on this one.
So download the Real 1100 app today and stay in tune with The Real.
Now, when y'all hear this music, y'all know what time it is. It's time to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, listening to the show again this week. We had a lot of information. We had a lot of things to talk about this week, and I'm hoping next week we'll have the same thing. I want to thank Dr. Fowler for coming in. I also want to thank Rick for stepping in, talking about the NFL, talking about that NBA also. And definitely got to give a shout out to my greatest engineer in the world, G. Again, thanks to all the friends, family. Special shout out to everybody that continuously listen to us. Stay diligent, stay positive, stay safe during this corona. Black Lives Matter. Arrest the killers, murderers of Breonna Taylor. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
You just got done listening to the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook accounts at the 3-Point Conversion. And also make sure you check out our website, the3pointconversion.com. Be sure to follow us live and listen every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern.
What it do, baby?
You gonna learn today. You gonna learn today.